What's going on, you guys? It's Scott from Fly Rides, back again this week with another quick bike breakdown, except we're giving you a 2-for-1 special this time on the AllMtn 6.0 and the Enduro 6.0 from Haibike. These are both a part of their XDURO line, and they're both 2019 bikes and the last of the remaining Bosch Gen 2 eMTBs that are worth looking at. Why are we breaking them down together, you might be asking? Because they are very similar bikes. So we're just gonna tell you which one you should be looking at if you're looking between the two of them. Like this video, subscribe to this channel so you can see more content like this and more of this lovely face. So you can see more bike breakdowns like this and full reviews if you're lucky. Let's break into this bike, you guys. Let's check them out. So before we tell you about who this bike is for, of course, you know what we gotta do. Let's talk about specs, baby.
Let's talk about specs, baby.
So as we mentioned before, these bikes are going to be very similar. So the Haibike XDURO AllMtn 6.0 is gonna be more of an all-around sort of bike. Good for trail usage, good for some single track, still pretty good for some downhill and maybe some baby jumps. And then the Enduro model is gonna be better for downhill speeds, maybe not quite the climber as the AllMtn, but it's gonna be for more intense, like high level, high jumps. You're gonna be sending it off some jumps and stuff like that. That is when you're gonna be looking at the Enduro. Both of these bikes are gonna be coming with the Bosch Performance CX Generation 2 motor. That is 75 Newton meters of torque. You are also getting 250 watts nominal and a 500 watt hour integrated battery. Both bikes are also going to come with the SRAM GX Eagle 12-speed derailleur. You have 11 to 50 teeth on the rear cassette. And both bikes are going to be coming with Fox Float 36 suspension in the front, and it's going to be Fox suspension in the back on both bikes as well. The Float DPX2 on the AllMtn version and the X2 on the Enduro 6.0. Brakes are varying slightly from one to the other. The AllMtn is coming with the G-Spec from TRP, and you got the Trail S on the Enduro. So again, pretty similar bike. It's not going to be a ton different. So what are the differences? Well, like I said before, the Enduro is going to be more aggressive. You have a 65-degree head tube angle on the Enduro model and a 74-degree seat tube angle on the back. And then on the AllMtn model, you're getting a 66-degree head tube angle and a 74 in the back. So just slightly more aggressive on the Enduro, except for the fact that you're also getting 180 millimeters of travel instead of 160 in the front and 150 in the rear. Of course, any good eMTB these days is going to have a dropper seat post, and they are both equipped with a KS-Lev dropper. And one final minor difference between the two models is that you're going to be getting 2.8-inch wide plus-size tires on the AllMtn 6.0, which is more appropriate for an AllMtn build. And on the Enduro model, you're going to be getting a 2.6 wide tire again. So Haibike has spec'd these bikes out incredibly intelligently, but that doesn't matter. It matters how it rides. So we're gonna send Austin out on this bike so he can send it on the AllMtn 6.0. Why are we doing the AllMtn 6.0? Well, because he's a pretty aggressive rider, and I want to see if it's aggressive enough for him. Let's take a look, then we'll meet back at the shop, and I'll let you know how I enjoyed the ride.
All right, so today we're out here on the 2019 Haibike AllMtn 6.0. Let me tell you, this is one of my favorite builds from Haibike, and that is why we are talking about it today. Right away, we are gonna head right into this jump. Nice little step down into a double berm, into another little jump. Feels so solid. The Fox Performance lead suspension really handles all these jumps, drops like it's absolutely nothing. And the 2.8 tires are soaking it up. Oh, gotta avoid this puddle. But yeah, let's just say, this bike is absolutely phenomenal and is ripping down this trail. It is very rocky, and I will say these Maxxis 27.5 by 2.8 Minion got a DHF up front, DHR in the rear. they really eat up the small stuff. That combined with the Fox DP X2 in the rear, you just leave it wide open when you climb, and it's just like, I don't know, what was I gonna get to? Like riding in a Bentley, maybe? Let's drop back in. So as we were mentioning, this bike comes with 160 mil of travel up front and 150 mil in the rear, and it can definitely still handle everything you throw at it. The 60-60 degree head tube angle is absolutely wonderful on this bike. Puts the front wheel out just enough, but keeps the frame compact and allows you to really maneuver this bike down the trail. The Enduro will have a little bit longer frame, so it won't feel as nimble through the corners as the AllMtn 6.0 does. Here we go, some nice turns over the log. Oh, split disc down here, go through the chunky stuff, hit this little double. Now this is a good part right here where we can test the suspension. Just pump through these, don't even need to use the motor, just let it go down the chunky stuff. Oh, and we can hit a down tree. So a lot of you may ask, can this bike handle drop? Well, let's take it off a 6-foot drop and see. Oh, easily. So now that the jumps and drops are over with, let's see how this thing can handle through some flowy turns. Little power uphill right here. Still got the motor kicking. We are cruising up this little climb. Back into the flowy berms. These are my two favorite corners. Let's see how these tires handle it. Oh, so great. Into a big jump. And to the chunk. Let's see how it handles over the biggest jump. Let's send it. Woo! Oh, that was a wild ride right there.
The Enduro model is going to be great for you riders who are super intense downhill guys. You want to get going like 40 miles per hour downhill. It's going to have you some really solid straight line speeds downhill. It's going to be excellent for that. And you can definitely send it off some decent jumps as well. So I would say for most people, you're probably going to be looking at the AllMtn bike, but if you are an honest to God, very, very aggressive rider, then the Enduro bike is going to be a good option for you. Either way, no matter which bike you're looking at, even if it's just that you want more travel like the Enduro bike, but maybe you're not as aggressive of a rider, both of these bikes at the price point they're at right now is pretty insane. You really can't find a foxed out bike like this for the price that Haibike is currently asking. So I would say you're probably not going to be unhappy with either of these options, but I would encourage you to kind of honestly reflect on your own personal riding style. If you're a complete beginner, it's the AllMtn. If you're a totally advanced rider, then maybe it's the Enduro. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you can keep in touch with what's going on in the eMTB sphere in America. We will see you guys next time. Until then, enjoy the ride.